Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Man Alone solo role-playing YouTube channel. I'm your host, Man Alone, and today, you know how there's that one that got away, and in my case, I'm not talking about a relationship. For me, I'm thinking of a hoagie, but anybody has something that they just keep coming back to in their mind over and over again. No matter what the world throws at me, no matter what games glisten before me, I always keep coming back to Fallen. And I find myself falling for this game all over again. By Perplexing Ruins, released in 2022, I was ensnared by a box set of Fallen on Exalted Funeral. They had only one left, and I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't. I tried my best. I even did the thing where I counted back from 10. I didn't call my sponsor. I didn't want to bother my sponsor, but I did. I called, the operator. So they weren't very happy about that. Anyways, the point is that I bought it. Even though I already have the book, I just had to do it. And the reason is because the box set not only has the core book, but it also included some additional goodies that I just could not wait for, such as the campaign notebook and the Hillgraab supplement, and one of my favorite things, which is the supplement Oracle. That was probably extremely loud. So the Oracle for Fallen is this awesome. Is it okay to say Alfred Valley-esque? It actually does give a nod to Alfred Valley here in terms of the structure of this Oracle. And in addition to having this as sort of a generative abstract Oracle, on the other side of it is an excellent yes, no, degree, weather, plot twist, NPC Oracle as well. And as you can see, I just couldn't wait, right? I know, and when you buy something straight from the source, it takes a little bit longer. We expect that, and so I not only did I already have the core book, not only did I have all the other goodies on the way, I also printed them all out. Okay, so I just want to say that this right here, the campaign notebook, is probably worth the money. It's probably worth it, okay? But in addition to that, you're getting so many amazing things, including the base character sheet is pretty awesome. But then there's a character sheet. I kind of doodled on it a little bit while I was on a phone call, but this character sheet as well is one of the few designed character sheets that I absolutely love and don't get frustrated and overwhelmed with. Of course, I did roll my character's name on the sheet, and the first name came up as a Jorma, Jorma, but I rolled a surname of Theodosius, which I think fits Jorma well. And because you'll see the stats in this game, they have a unique system in which they're represented by dice. I thought it would be good to do a slight modification of the 2d6 dungeon from Tabletop Engineer, and I just put in sort of strength, focus, usage dice, gear dice, willpower, agility, etc. And then the Fallen system goes on a rank system, and I'll explain that, as well as an armor system. And so I just use shift here for the rank, and the armor fits down here well. Now, one of my favorite things about Fallen is the Hillgraab map and setting. I am a sucker for maps like this. I just absolutely love this micro detail, Everything looks very like clustered and cluttered, and kind of reminds me of if you've ever seen Woodfall or anything by Lazy Lich. It looks great. Hillgraab is an amazing setting, and that is the one book that after I printed everything out, I said, I have to have something that I get in the box set whenever it shall come. And it came just about an hour after I printed everything out. And so we're going to take a quick look inside here, and I'm going to give you a run through everything because there is one additional thing, and to be, I'll quit being coy. This was, for me, the thing that put me over was the fact that there were 3 sets of cards. There is, I believe, bestiary cards, item or weapon cards, and then there's actual oracle cards. So we're going to take a look at that. And inside here is the Hillgraab setting, 40 something pages. And I'm telling you, the map, it's just the start of it. Just the start of it, because the true delight is this Hillgraab setting. This is a setting / kind of campaign book, the likes of which you have never seen before. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And we're going to we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about how to play Fallen. We'll open all that up. And I thought, since the dice are such an integral part of the game, wait till you hear this dice system. It's so cool. What you could do with the luck dice here. I figured this would be a great time to put some of my Dice Nest Spectrum Samurai Black dice to use. And I hope, I've heard some feedback. People want a little bit more structure for the Dice Nest commercials. So what I did was I wrote copyright for a real commercial, like I was a real ad man, a real madman. I put full effort copywriting and came up with this commercial. It's taut, it's quick. Please give me your feedback. And I understand, I'm not a professional, but honestly, when you're done with this, you're going to think, hey, maybe Man Alone is in the wrong field. So without any further ado.
Since 2019, Dice Nest has been handcrafting some of the most stunning and story-rich dice in the tabletop world. And today, I want to highlight 2 sets that genuinely stop me in my tracks. First up, the Samurai Spectrum. Opaque black agate. And when I say opaque, I mean it. Inky blackness as far as the eye can't see. Cut from real agate and shot through with silvery parallel banding, they shimmer like a katana left out under a thunderhead. Each face is meticulously polished, giving them the weight and feel of something ancient. Something earned. Then there's the starlit azure, a fusion of stabilized wood and swirling pearlescent resin. Every die feels like a frozen comet trail crossed with the rings of Saturn. It's organic and cosmic at the same time. It's like rolling the night sky through your hands, friends. Dice Nest doesn't just make dice. No. They tell stories through matter and craft. And right now, you can tell your own story with 20% off using the code MANDICEALONE. That's MANDICEALONE. Make no mistake, it does not say Man Dies Alone. It's a nod to my channel. Man Alone. Dice Nest. Beautiful dice, heavy with meaning. Visit them today.
Visit DiceNest.com today to use promo code MANDICEALONE for 20% off. Thank you, Dice Nest, for sponsoring this channel and for giving me incredible creative latitude with making this ad. So there it was. I believe it or not, I put that together just me, and elbow grease. So check out promo code ManDiceAlone. And I do have on display here the Starlit Azure. We're going to have that as our focus, as well as the Spectrum Samurai Black. We're going to have that as our willpower, and then some other guy here. And we also have them as our usage and gear dice, and I will explain all of that. So, to get started, I'm just going to zoom us in a little bit here. All right, so the box itself, pretty simple cardboard box, has a nice stamp, maybe. Or I don't know, maybe that's hand drawn on there. Nothing too fancy or anything, but does the job. And inside we have 2 packages. The cards look like they're in one box, and Fallen Bundle by Perplexing Ruins and the Lost Base Studio. And I already have this, so this is like the only thing that I have a hard copy of from the entire Fallen universe here. Let's see. All right. So, nice, heavy, thick. That's cardboard. All right. So, this looks like I have a second copy of this now. And obviously, I don't need 2 copies of this. So we're going to do just like a little giveaway that I'll talk about at the end. But I'm pretty sure this is, I mean, as far as I can tell straight away, looks like the same amount of pages. I will say it's messing with my mind a little bit, but this does feel a little heavier than the newer one. I don't know why. And then the Hillgraab. This is what I cannot wait to show you, the City and Adventure supplement. And it just has so many cool... it's so much more than just an adventure supplement. So I can't wait to show you that. And then we also have the campaign notebook, which, look, I do love my massive printed out one here, but it is pretty sweet to have this in a nice, really high quality book as well. It looks like some player sheets here. Oh yeah. All right, so this is some character sheets. These are the ones that are made by, I'm going to have to look up who this was because it is some community artist. And so then you got the classic character sheet here as well. Oh, interesting. Okay. So that's a bit portable. You know why this is nice, actually? Because you could use both of them, since normally you would have your dice. You could use this. I mean, it's designed to have your dice on the sheet and rotate it. And then a little piece of art here. That looks, oh yeah. This is so beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to have to lamb this. This is the Oracle, D66 Oracle, with extremely evocative, very perplexing, ruinic images on there. And this is, well, just an awesome little piece of art. What would you call this? Like a matte paper? I'm not sure. I don't know anything. I don't know a damn thing. And then looks like we have 2 copies of the map. Yeah. Great. Cool. Yeah, and so I guess like if you want to use one of them to track like an adventure on it. And then also I reached out to Perplexing Ruins because I am a bit of a completionist when I do a video on something, and I saw some conversation, I think in 2023, where they're like, hey, I did an unfinished like map if anybody wants to check that out. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't see that listed in my box set. And of course, he was very kind to send it to me. And it's just a like overland unfinished map with hexes, but man, the detail on it, like you could just keep zooming in on this and see it's just really excellent, even in this tiny little detail here. So that could be an overland map. And I believe also, I'm not sure actually if it was supposed I don't think it was supposed to come with this, but I also purchased the one of the adventures here, which is called the Frosty Mare. And the Frosty Mare is, I think, is this? I'm pretty sure that this is part of the Frosty Mare, right? Maybe not. I always thought it was, but maybe it isn't. Maybe Black Reach Castle and Frosty Mare are two separate things because, I'll figure this out. These are little adventures for it. Joy Peddler Games also has a really nice intro solo adventure for it called Woods of Despair. If you're not familiar with Joy Peddler, they did Harper's Quest and Harper's Quest 2. So a little solo intro adventure. And then 1d10 plus 5, who does Solitary Defilement, made this awesome handy dandy rules reference sheet, which is super good, and I would say a must-have for solo play. It's just a rules summary front and back. It has rule book references. It has combat, and you know, one of the nice things about Fallen is it's easy to the rules are easy to get into, and I think just when you get reminded a couple times, you'll have it down because the system is pretty much 2d6, and you're measuring usually against a 10 or greater is going to be like a success. 7 to 9 complication, 6 or less is going to be a failure, and you'll use stats to modify that. Okay. Now, the part that, so all of that stuff I just opened, pretty much I've had, I've looked through, I've enjoyed, but here we are about to embark on new territory, which is these card decks, and it's been a long day, and so I've had a lot of people needing me, and so it's very nice that the only person who needs me right now is me. So please, if my voice is a little less animated than it normally is, it's only because I've been talking all day. On the inside, I'm almost peeing because I'm so excited for these cards. So the same material. And I wouldn't say... they're not quite tarot card size, because this would be like a... Oh, yeah, I guess they are. All right, well, then they get a tarot case, which is almost impossible to find these. So anytime I bought like 12 of them, so anytime I find something that fits in there, I'm joyful. All right, we did it. There we go. And this is great, too, for the 2d6 plus 10 like game board here, because the cards can go into these little top slots right here. And the top ones we have right here are the bestiary. Let's see if I can find... Wow, it's great. This is going to feel so good having these cards. All right, so we have all the bestiary cards right here. I just love Perplexing Ruins art. It's like that art that it's tons of contrast. And it's also like somebody who looks like they're scribbling, but then somehow at the end of the scribble, It is extremely like the form takes shape and it's very ghostly and ghastly. And it has like a little bit of so it has stats, a little bit of flavor on the bottom, very sparing flavor. Galder, a song most low was heard, and then also like their special move, and on some of them modifications to initiative, and some of the cards as well. Like if you are in combat with them, you'd roll 1d6 to see what specific attack that they do. Okay, now we have location cards. All right. Now, wait a minute here. See, this is so interesting to me, is that these say location cards, but I think these might be the Oracle cards. So let's take a look at those last. This is equipment. Now these are poker size cards, and these are going to fit without any fuss in the top part here, which is great because that's really where you want equipment to be. Yep. Sturdy boots. Yeah. Okay. So, not getting into the how to play just yet, but one of the things I like about Fallen is that there's obviously like combat mechanics, but there is separate mechanics, like specific mechanics for duels, as well as like fisticuffs, simply because it takes place in 17th, 18th century. And first of all, I like that because just not a lot of games take place during that, sort of tri-corner hat, sewage everywhere, sweeping, women sweeping all the time, Sweeney Todd serving people to eat, stuff like that. And so we'll talk about the system for dueling, as well as how the weapons work. Now, so again, these are locations, but these to me look like they're going to be Oracle cards because they have yes, but, and then survive, ritual, the island cavern magic, the slain tracks missing, hideout clothing sickness. So I guess they are locations, so to speak, but they're definitely have Oracle things on them as well. The crossroads, the cemetery, right? And locations are important because different locations are going to have different things in terms of fear and peace and regaining. If you have fear, you have to go to a place that reinstills a sense of peace. Sometimes it's the same place. Like cathedrals can either instill fear or resolve it, depending on like how you feel about that. These are just absolutely beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, what do I do now? Because the Oracle card is awesome. This is awesome. I don't want to investigate them too much because sometimes I like to encounter them in play. So it does just look though like from the layout of them, we're going to have an image on top of a location. We're going to have yes, no, maybe, etc. Then we're going to have some sort of action. So investigate, destroy, deliver. And then in the middle here, it looks like what? We have a location, an encounter, or a finding, maybe. And then sort of just flavor words. I'm not sure how to thematically combine them yet, but like the arrival, the judgment. Okay, so I think I'm seeing something here. So the top word here is this one. The top word here is the bottom one. The judgment, the cemetery, the cave, the rider. And then there are these other ones that will sort of like further inform the event. And so you pull one of these and you just sort of allow your mind to wander. And I think cards are just, for me, the best for Oracle because for whatever reason, and there's no like science to this or anything like that, but for whatever reason, flipping a card and then just like whatever is there is there. It's just very, very compelling to me in terms of like switching that part of my brain on. And speaking of that, I think I'm going to take just a little break so that I can give you my 110% in this video before we even start. Dude, if I am ever like, if you ever see me and I'm like on the brink of death, put me in a hot shower because I just took a hot shower. I mean, obviously, most of you know this, I would say. Like a hot shower is. How does it make you feel so good? Why do I feel so good right now? Is there a DNR version of the DNR bracelet that just says like DPMIS, do put me in shower? I worked for 2 years abroad in a place that I did not have hot water, and I had to take cold showers every morning for 2 years. And I have never felt so appreciative in my life than when I came home and had a hot shower. And I will cherish it for as long as it's available. Every time I take it, I kind of say, this is a real luxury. I should only be doing this if I'm like in the Roman Senate, you know? Anyways, I feel great. Let's do this. Okay, so what else to say about Fallen? All right. So like I said, Fallen it's that Euro American 1600 to 1850. It's Baroque European, and it takes its greatest inspiration from Cairn and Ironsworn. And then it says, these two excellent games are foundational to my gaming thoughts. Solitary Defilement, Perilous Wilds, Trophy Dark, Bastards, Rogueland, Maze Rats, Hero's Journey, and Blood in the Roots all left imprints somewhere. There are 4 stats or abilities, and those are Strength, Focus, Agility, and Will. And at the beginning of the game, you have a +3, +2, and +1 to distribute. So for me, I put these tiny little dice here. So I have +1 for strength, +3 for focus, +2 for will. And strength, physical power. Focus is concentration and use of firearms. Agility, speed, swiftness, climb, sneak, dodge. And then will is mental fortitude to resist fear. But the other thing about will is that it's for like death saves. And so we'll talk about that. Now, there is actually a really, really cool way that all of this comes together. So down here, I have shift. All right. It's actually not shift. In the shift box, it's rank. And this is a rank-based system. And what this means is that all characters begin at 6. And whenever I receive harm, I do -1. All right. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if I get harm at 1, that means that I go down now to the rank of 4, and I have D4, okay? And then I do 4, 3, 2, 1, and 4 is the lowest you can go. At 0, you have to do a will test. If you miss, you die. If you succeed, return to rank 4 and gain an injury, and injuries are permanent. And you can recover to your maximum rank, so again, starting at 6, after a safe and comfortable night with sustenance. And then injuries will have some effects and are more or less permanent. Now, what I really like about this is that it is, harm puts me down 1 point of, it's 1 pip. All right. So even though I'm still at D6, I go down 1 to 5. I go down 1 to 4. Now, if I get hit with like as you would say in Ironsworn, Starforge, like a weak hit, that does harm for however much, all right? But if I get hit in a strong hit, and I'm using Ironsworn terms here, I get a wound. And a wound automatically drops you to the next rank down, regardless of where you're at. You can be a rank 20 and have 20 pips of harm, and if you get a wound, you are knocked down to rank 12. All right. And so that reduces rank by 1 step from a wound. Harm reduces pips of health. So the example I think is good. A rank 6 player character takes 3 harm, means they remove 3 pips. And for me, that would just mean I move this die down to 3 because that's how I track it. And should the player character suffer 3 or more additional harm, reduce pips until rank 4. Okay, and then on and on. Now, I have my different dice here: strength, focus, will. All right. So you might say, well, why use the dice? Why not write it in? Well, good question. You definitely can just write it in, but the luck, the usage of luck in this game, I think, is so clever, and it basically is like the system in this game is 2d6 plus ability or plus skill, whatever it is. And then on a 10 or higher success, all goes to plan. 7 to 9 is complication. There is some success, but a difficulty or loss. Or 6 or less is a miss. Nothing works out and another challenge may present itself. So say I'm doing a strength check, right? I roll a 2d6 and my strength is a 1. So I'm just doing 2d6 plus 1, 3, 6, 9 plus 1, 10. Great. That's a success. Now, say I have something that is really, I really need it, or the odds are stacked against me or whatever. I can use a luck roll, which means that I take, in addition to my +1, I take the strength dice and I roll it as a die with these 2 other dice, 5, 1, 3. I actually, got a 9. I mean, which is still a partial success or whatever you want to call it. And so that's great. I used my strength luck, but for the rest of the day, until there's a new day, I don't have my strength modifier anymore. Okay. So that's a big gamble, right? And you have to make that decision before the roll. All right. And so I lose that +1 modifier for the rest of the day if I do that. And so you could do that with any of the dice. Obviously, I'm a 0 with agility, so I don't have a luck dice for that. But all of your abilities can go up to +3. So you could have 3, 3, 3, 3. And then you have usage dice and gear dice. Okay, and those start at D20. And with usage dice and gear dice, it's basically consumable items are on usage dice. And after any sort of engagement that uses items that are consumable, smaller consumable items, I roll that, and on a 1 or 2, I decrease it down 1 step. And then gear dice is the same thing. The way to remember this, the simplified way to distinguish which is gear and which is like consumable usage dice, is gear is stuff that you use in combat. So gear would be like a smoke bomb, ammo, right? If you had like throwing knives, stuff like that. And then equipment-wise, you start with D6 coins, usage dice worth of torches, usage dice worth of rations, and then I get to choose a shoddy hooded cloak, some worn clothes, or a fine sash, rare hat, plumage, or gloves. And then would roll to determine what else we have, which is gear is D20 times 3. And that is the times 3 of the cost. So we would say here, right, and if you didn't lick spiders when you were younger like I did, you probably were able to tell that it's just saying the cost is represented in the parentheses here. To determine your starting gear, you roll D20 times 3. Okay. Firearms are fairly common and very deadly. Most encounters with human NPCs will not continue beyond the first success roll when firearms are involved. They cannot be fired during close combat unless you are able to secure some sort of advantage, such as stunning the opponent. By the way, advantage, roll 3d6, take away the lowest. Disadvantage, 3d6, take away the highest. And then horses. Horses are very important, as they should be, because the horse was like, the 17th century Harley Davidson. That should be opposite. When you come face to face with something horrifying for the first time, you have to test your will, 2d6 plus will minus the foe's fear rating. And on a miss, you gain a fear token. For every fear token you have, you must reduce any test result by that much. And for that, I'm just going to use one of these markers here. So that just keep space sort of. Which one was this one? Looks fearful. There we go. And then you can go to places of peace or places of disturbance will increase fear. Places of peace will remove those fear tokens. And then here's some injuries and dueling. So for blades and boxing, these happen in rounds. Combatants roll d4 plus will or half rank. Okay. This gives the duelist life points. So it's almost like they have a special stat for this. Before a duel takes place, determine if the stakes are to the death or honorable actions. And then, well, I'll just explain firearms because I know this one well, and I think blades and boxing is similar. For firearms, both characters roll a d4 and a d6 at the same time. We'll roll pizza d4. All right. Wow. Okay. Well, I should have rolled 2 of these here. Okay. So the lower d4 result is the first shot fire. Okay. If the related d6 exceeds the opposing d4, the shot strikes. It does. If equal or lower, the shot misses. To conclude the round, compare the second shooter's d6 to the first shooter's d4 following the same process, right? So this also exceeds it. However, it shot first, right? So, I mean, it depends if it's to the death or honorable action. Either you're dead or you have 1 harm. And for an NPC, their rank is going to modify the D4 roll instead of the willpower. Obviously, I didn't modify with stats that time, but it should be taken seriously when you're going to duel because this is not a Nintendo 64 game. Like you get shot with a musket, you're gone. Skills, each of them you can distribute 5 points at the beginning of play. Each of them have different outcomes for success, complication, or miss. Some of them have special effects to them. Diplomacy, exploration, investigation, survival. Venture is the one that you're going to use for exploring. And you will suffer fate for a lot of these that are misses, right? And that will usually involve some sort of plot complication, fear token, adversary, or wasted resources is a 1. And then incantations, I have to admit, I know actually Perplexing Ruin is probably going to be annoyed with this because it's something that gets explained a lot, but I still do just forget it often because there is, for incantations, there's light and dark points. And so you could put up to 4 in each of those, and you use those as your sort of stockpile for incantations that you cast, right? And so it'll say, roll the dice. Okay, sorry. Incantations. Magic takes the form of incantations for each skill level used to advance your incantation skills. So that means how many points are in it. Mark a dark or light incantation die up to a combined maximum of 4. Okay, that's my bad. I thought it was 4 each. This creates your dice pool and narratively represents your access to the raw energy that circulates within and through everything. Roll the dice pool, choose incantations that correspond to the results according to the adjacent table. A 3 on a light die grants access to ward, web, or bone. Combined results create stranger effects. All right. So if I had 4, I guess we can actually try this out here to see how this goes. Some of them are pretty straightforward, and you just build on the effects of it. But generally, light, heals or defends. Dark is, so we'll make these ones the dark, light, and so we'll say 4 and a 2 and a 5 and a 3. So dark or harm. So that'd be what? Ruin. 4 and 2 pillage. See, am I doing this right? Because it also goes. let me respect the source here, because I have a system that I do it, and it's so low class how I do it that I'm ashamed to say it. But let me just think of the right way to do it. Oh my gosh, I just realized how this works and the way that I was doing it. I'm so embarrassed. I'm not even going to say it. All right, I'll say it. So basically, I see this just represents the core problem with me. Is like suddenly I'll just forget the main thing going on here. So the way that you're supposed to do it is you have to do, like you always do, 2d6 plus whatever, right? And if it's a skill, it's a skill. You add the skill. So it doesn't matter that there's a bunch of boxes next to incantation. It still is a max of 4 points. It just is separated by light and dark, right? So if I have one light, one dark, I just have a +2 for that skill, right? And I'll roll 2d6, 5, 5, 10 plus 2, all right? And so 12. So I have a success. Success means I could spend any available dice, right? And since I have 2 points for that, I have 2 dice. Whereas if I got a 7 and 9, I'd be able to pick one to use it. And a miss, I can't use anything. I have to take a fear token and roll one of the curses. But then I roll, all right, and say I have use one of my dark die. I have 5. I have deplete, all right, and then light die, 1, illuminate. And really, you could take anything from this row. So I can say like deplete blood or illuminate shroud, whatever it is, because it's all about just, like creating that incantation. You can see the ones that are sort of this is related to tarnishing, so I won't say that, but essentially the dark ones are going to lead to harm and the light ones are going to lead to healing or defense or something like that. And then the top ones here, the way that I was doing it was it had to match. So I was like, oh, okay, so you have to roll a 1, and then I have to roll a 1, 3, or a 5 here. And since I rolled a 4, it didn't work. I was doing that instead of the 2d6, which I guess is no. Why? There's no reason that I was doing. I could have just understood it. The top bar here is for pamphlets, and pamphlets, if you play Merkborg, it's like scrolls, which are ready made. You don't have to do a test. You could just cast directly from the pamphlet, and that will tell you what it is. So you just roll on the top. So it's a 5. That means it's a dark pamphlet, and then you roll a d6 again, and it's 2 entrails. Okay. And this is the thing too, is that for the healing, it's mostly recovering health. Again, I would add like different effects. I think that would be Aegis effects or something, defend, or maybe I just make sure that I decide whatever the effect is before I calculate it out, right? Because it's like I don't want to keep switching things up. And also it should be like related to the words. So if I roll like a word web, that to me would say, okay, I'm going to have my party protected for 3 damage or something for this next round. And you go by the number that you roll for harm or for healing. All right. And then advancement, there's all these different things that would qualify for milestones. And for every 5 milestones or 5 suitable experiences, you gain a rank. You go from 6 to 8 to 10 to 12, which includes defeating a major enemy, making a major discovery, learning something, witnessing the demise of a companion, giving meaningful assistance to an NPC, or bringing significant treasure back. And then upon gaining a new rank, you can increase an ability modifier by 1. That's probably going to be one of the best things to do early game. Distribute 2 skill points. This is to round out your character. And then also on the bottom of the character sheet is 2 spaces for aspects. And these are just like narrative things that you can add to your character that will they don't get captured in abilities or skills. And I think this would be like a high level of specialization. Maybe your character is able to always like always is like a top gambler or is always able to pick locks, you know, something like that. There is this presence of this supernatural force in this world, the folding, and it says those traversing the world of fallen are touched, tarnished, and folded into the fabric of earthen markings. To exist in the planes where darkness and light are born is often met with melancholy, but those able to persevere become tarnished, an odor, a covering, a molding that marks the spirit of one's growth. Upon each advancement, a character gains 1 tarnish point. As far as I could tell, I'm not able to see a place where tarnish goes. And on either sheet here, I mean, it's not that hard. I just, well, just add that at the bottom. And so these points are used to grant permanent enhancement to equipment. All right. And so you can create your own as you can with everything in this game, but it's like 2 tarnish points can do Space of Shadows. You may call on the item to engulf yourself in a shadow sphere 12 feet in diameter, giving +2 bonus on defense rolls. So again, this is, I wouldn't say it's late game, but this is things where after you level up your character and get their abilities going, get their skills filled out, you could start getting like enchanted weapons. Exploration's pretty straightforward. It uses a waypoint system. And then exploration, when a new location is encountered, the spinner, that's what the GM is, like spinning a yarn, may want to determine the number of spaces it contains. And that's pretty consistent. And this is really on display in the Joy Peddler solo addendum. I think it gives a good visual of what it looks like to come up with like a location and spaces in here. It would look like the Woods of Despair, right? Okay, there's going to be 5 spaces, and you know, on your exploration 9+, it's slightly modified in this one. Reach next space, no encounter. Complication, reach next space, and there is an encounter roll, and then you can encounter these enemies here. This is a good thing if you're new to it. Check out Woods of Despair because it gives you a good idea of how the flow of the game can work for solo play. But you'll see right when you pick this up, Fallen, it's solo. It's a solo game. Like, you're going to see it right away. And in fact, what is sort of amazing about this game, and now with these cards, it's like you have this Oracle, which is incredible. And then in the back of this, you have the Esoterica. This is a D100 nouns, D100 adjectives, and verbs. All right. And now I also have these location ones. So I have in this game, this 44-page game, 3 of like the best oracles in the business. And you just get to choose which one you want to use. All right. And so I think that's a pretty good there's the end of this has just like a lot of good tables here. This is generators for city and the wild, nature, NPCs, hirelings, actions and motivations, artifacts, treasures, trinkets, and then the bestiary here in the back, and a way to make a creature for the bestiary. All right. For Hillgraab, this is a city and adventure supplement for the Fallen role-playing game. And you can see down here some familiar names here. Carabagno, Eduardo, who, one second, let me show you something. If you caught this video from a while back here, Settlers of a Dead God, this is by Eduardo Carabagno, so does some sections in this. Josh Damansky, and this little adventure, the Deeper Understanding, is by Brad Kerr and Yokai Gal of Cairn. In the back is these 100 Curious Curios. And I'd say, like I said, this Hillgraab supplement is amazing. And the reason I love it so much is, you know, there is overland travel. You can go outside of this, but you could honestly do a month of solo play. You could do 5 months of solo play just in here. It gives you not just like what's happening here, how this city is set up, who's in the council, what's the militia, what are the laws here, You can be put in prison, okay? And there's this scale here that where anytime you sort of interface with either crime, enemies, supernatural, political, other, you increase the pressure on that track until you get to something that's like a big deal, right? So if sort of like crime keeps pushing up and then you hit to the top rank, it has to explode and reset. And that crime could be that there's some sort of like St. Valentine's Day level massacre attempted. And then each of the different districts has all these establishments, whispers, sites on the street that you can just roll and get an idea of what's going on here. It gives 2 main NPCs per area, but then also you can roll them up here with like you can generate a bunch of them. Also, for whatever reason, the font that's used, I really love it, but it causes me to read the names in the funniest ways possible. So I think there's one guy named like Ronald Sausage. Let me see. Yeah, Adalbert Sausage. All right. What are the other ones that I missaw? Oh yeah, Somnolent Warbot, Somnic Warbot. Oh, Henry Shingle. Well, actually, that's Hetty Shingle. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't have to go through what I'm doing right now. This isn't good. But anyways, there are 10 different areas, and I must say, for the second video in a row, possibly even I kind of want to take back what I said yesterday with Symbarum, because this is even, look at this. So this is a 4-part massive map from a game called Return of the Ripper. And this is a physical map you can get, I think, for $5, 18 inches wide, 12 inches tall. When put together, 36 inches by 24. And it's called the Poster Maps of the District of Spitalfields. I mean, come on. Look at that. That's like, are you serious? This is me just trying to find a reason to use this huge map. Anyways, you can literally go up and down the streets in this and fill in each street with different action, different NPCs, contacts, major events, landmarks. Okay. So, yes, very cool, but so far you're like, all right, got some nice stuff, got some nice hooks and rumors here, some villains by Eduardo Carabagno. The Vermilion Vestige, right? This is this like strange and awesome shop with all these cool weapons in it. We talked about this Deeper Understanding, which involves a battle between the local Catfish Brigade militia and the Despicable First Rifles. But what I think I just loved so much was this thoughts on construction here and guidance for the city. And it talks you through how to use index cards to build out the city. And it's a really great 1-page system that is a perfect method for building a live, interactive, dynamic city. Because you can also like build something, put some notes on it, and then come back to it at a later time to explore it more deeply. Now, obviously, I now have 2 copies of the Fallen main book. And if you're watching this, I am going to ask you a favor, okay? Perplexing Ruins is a really cool person and definitely did not ask me to do this, and I don't know if they'd want me to do this, but they got 2 little ones that are in daycare right now, and they told me how much it costs a month, and I know that many of you know, and I know that many of you are probably dealing with this as well right now. So if you have something you'd like me to buy or us to buy, let us know. We could help out, but this is, not a charity event or anything like that, but if you like what you see today, if you could do me a favor and go to the itch.io page, that is, what is it? perplexingruins.itch.io. The entire set here for the PDF and everything is $15, and you'll actually get all of this stuff here. You'll get the Fallen ebook, character sheet, the Oracle card, Hillgraab, the map, the booklet. You'll get this incomplete world hex map that you can use to build out overland travel, creature tokens, sphere tokens, and in fact, you'll get those printable Oracle sheets. And if you could, just do me a favor, to sort of balance out this like call to do just like a coordinated mass. It's what's the opposite of a boycott? A girl-cott of Fallen here. And if you just write something maybe, ominous, not bad, but just something like Man Alone gives his regards. And say something like that in the comments, and then just like let me know. And we'll say next Friday, it's June 13th right now. So the next Friday, I'll just go through it, and I'll just pick out one of those, and I will send you. Actually, I'll pick out two of them, and I'll send one of you my Fallen core book, and the second one I will send you something insane. I don't even know what it'll be. Maybe I'll send you a pencil. I have this pretty cool pencil sharpener. I have basing glue. It's going to be great prizes. So go ahead. If you could do that, again, just if you're interested, but I don't know. When somebody tells me that like daycare for little kids costs as much as college, I just want to help them out. So if you can do this for me, I would really appreciate it. Oh, you can see me as a top comment right here, begging for the incomplete world map. So I'm telling you guys to spend $15, and I'm over here being like, can I have the free map? But I will say also, if you're not exactly interested in that, check out for $3, this campaign notebook. It's like a little bit more compressed version of it. It's 20 pages, but it is so worth it. That campaign notebook is so good. It has all of the tables and encounters and everything in back. And also, one of my favorite things that Perplexing Ruins makes is these solo gaming sheets. And there's one for dungeons and for Overland. And it is like the ultimate of... it's like the adult solo role player's version of like a fun activity placemat that you would get at Pizza Hut as a kid. They give you like crayons or whatever. So if you just pick something up and write something about Man Alone, and then let me know. You can even leave me a voicemail about it. Still accepting voicemails. We're gonna do a voicemail show this weekend. We got some Pendragon on the horizon, folks. It's only going to get better around here. So that's it for this. If you're interested in seeing some play of this, I'm going to do, as part of the members only video this week, I'm going to do a little bit of play of Fallen, just to show you the game in action, along with some voicemails and other fun stuff like that. But Perplexing Ruins, thanks for the awesome game. Thank you all for watching and following along. And I hope that you're able to pick up a copy for yourself, because it's one of the best in the biz, and I want Fallen to be #1 on Bing. I want to be #1 on Alta Vista. It's not going to be #1 on Google. Like, I would say that. I don't want to be negative, but it's not going to be #1 on Google. But if we can get it #1 in Ask Jeeves, Lycos, Web Crawler. We can get it #1 in Web Crawler. Think about that.